sub tour with the club members, and then level one and sub instructor guide three club members. I attended with them. I took some videos for paddling to the Clipboard Island at Paddleboard. And today's wind direction is east wind from east to the, actually that is offshore wind. But when they arrived, I checked out the weather, the wind, the strong wind. It's about 3 or 4 meters per second. So, and then not strong. But the tide must be 6 meters, and then still is full moon tide. Then it's a little bit careful. And we paddle to the island side, the calm water, because of the wind direction is east, and in the middle of the pocket area is very calm. I paddle to the in the middle of pocket, and then no wind, and the water is very calm. And then I paddle along the shoreline. There was some the not the cliff, and then the deep, just like a cave, but not a cave. To my surprise, and then still there are mosquitoes because of seawater temperature. Temperature of the seawater still a little bit warm. I think the mosquito still living on the island, still they are staying there. And then I paddle into the cape side, the open cape side, and then I come back. And it's harder to move backside. There's one way to. The paddler can turn around, then and paddle to diversely, and it might be okay when the paddle out. So when club member gave me some rice cake and oranges, small oranges, and then I add some, and then they paddle to the Charlie turn around the island, and then with the four members, and then guide the instructor, and then they paddle to the island, the other side of the island. And I came back to the my shop, and then paddle to close to the inside. The close wind and paddling is much more easier. When I came back, and then I took rest, and then I had some sweet potato. Uh, After uh, mm, 1 hour, after 1 hour later, and then the club members came back to the shop from the paddling. They said to me, and then they were struggling to against the wind because the wind blowing to the circle wind because island and mountain, the whole cliff area, it might be the wind uh, much stronger than the other side. So, and then when they paddled came back from um, the far away to island, and then it was very struggling, and then uh, could not paddling, and uh, even though they paddled hard, and then could not board, but then they paddled, and then they could come, and then so they came safely. This was the experience that paddling the sub tour. And then sub tour is very important, and when we paddle, and then sub tour is just like a simple sub tour is if we paddle about more than 200 meter or 300 meter, and then it's the beyond, and the price it might be sub tours. if the wind and current moving, and then even the same place, it might be software because beginners cannot control them. They floating away. When they came back, it's very difficult to come back. So, and then as a guider or sub instructor, knowing about what is a religious source, what is a standard pattern, sub tour. And software might be they move to far away, and then it might be softwares they must check out the weather, wind direction, current tide, and all the things, and then properly they know about the proper gear, some emergency situation, whatever they do, and then okay, let's see. Now I can get some content about this. Using AI, can, I talk. Talking is writing, voice typing. And then with the help of AI, I can make content. Yeah. In English, you make content. In English, you make content or the stand-up paddleboard tour around the island, and then we paddle to the pocket side in the island because of there's no wind and the water is very calm. I paddled to the cave and then sub instructor guided the other members to turn around the island, and then when they came back, struggling paddling because of against the wind, and then in the end they came back safely. That is about the stand-up paddleboard tour after proofreading week. I talk with it English. In English, it might be summarized better and then stand up pattern for Island tour report. Here you go. Mm. Translate into Korean and Vietnamese above. I can copy the contents from the from the let's see. Hmm. Stand-up parable island for both content version, letter religion and made it clear and professional. First, after completing our group leading training, we went on a stand-up paddle tour around the island with our club member. The tour included one sub-instructor, three club member, and myself. I joined them to paddle, observe the film, some short video for our following content. Strange weather and condition before starting. When we checked the weather before launching, the wind was blowing from the east about 3 or 4 meters per second, and which meant it was offshore wind for our route. So it was also close to the full moon tide. The tidal level was around 6 meters. And so we needed to be extra careful. Wind direction east offshore and wind speed 3 and 4 meters per second. Tide full moon, tide high movements. Offshore wind can easily push the paddle away from land. So the instructor decided to keep the group together and monitor the condition closely during the tour, paddling toward the Pocky side. And then we paddled toward the Pocky side of the island, which is usually shorter. And we moved into the middle of the pocket area. The wind disappeared completely. The water became extremely calm and peaceful, almost like a lake. So paddling there was very easy. I paddled along the shoreline and explored the small cave and the rock wall. And the water inside the cave was deep and still, like a giant aquatic cave. Surprisingly, there were still mosquitoes on the island because the seawater temperature was still warm enough for them to survive. After exploring the tip of the cave area, I turned around and headed back toward the main shoreline, instead of guiding the other members. Meanwhile, the instructor guided the other three club members to paddle around the island. They continued the tour with stable progress at first. During the break, a club member gave me some rice cake and a small orange to snack on. After resting, and I paddled back toward the shop while the instructor and other members continued their route around the island. Um, the challenge, paddling against the wind. After about 1 hour, the club members returned to the shop. They told me that the paddling became very difficult on the other side of the island because the island is surrounded by a mountain, lofty, narrow, windy passage. The wind on the opposite side was much stronger than expected. They had to paddle directly against the wind, and the wave pushed them backwards several times. And this is one of the most important lessons in subtouring. Even if the departure area feels calm, the other side of the island can be completely different. If paddle move 200, 300 meters offshore, the wind can control the board and current can pull them sideways offshore. Returning can become extremely difficult. That is why checking weather, wind direction, current, and tidal level is absolutely essential before any subtour. Key safety lessons from this subtour, and then always check the wind direction. Offshore wind is dangerous. Know the tide, especially during full moon cycles. Expect a strong wind on the far side of an island. Stay together, especially with the mixed skill paddler. Use proper gear and prepare for emergency situation. And keep distance limits, and paddling too far can become risky quickly. And always have an experienced guide who understands the local conditions. And in the tours, despite a strong wind and the challenging return, all members came back safely. The instructor managed the group well, and the members gained invaluable experience about real wind condition and open water paddling. This sub-island tour was not just an enjoyable paddle, it was a meaningful lesson in ocean safety, understanding nature, reading wind and current condition, and guiding people responsibly. Okay.